Well, here's my vegetable garden. I have a couple of patio tomatoes there, and over here I have, I believe collard greens. Those are onions. And some onions there, and I've got some spinach. I just transplanted it. I planted some seeds, but they didn't grow. I think they got washed out in a hard rain. My peppers are there. That's broccoli. Some broccoli and some cauliflower and some collards in that one. And I'm going to put some tomatoes here. And I thought I could fit 5 of them in a 4x4 bed. I hope I can. And here's some beans. They're bush beans, so I won't have to tie them up. There's an area here, and it's overrun by my neighbor's weeds. So I need to, see there's a bed there, and I need to get the weeds out of there and figure out what I'm going to plant here. It looks like a rose bush is coming through. I think that's a rose bush from the other side. I've got to get rid of that. So I want to plant here, and I need to, I'm going to ask a friend to help me. We'll have to go over there because no one's living in that house, and get those weeds out of there. And we've got a problem with those Norway maple trees. I think that's what they're called. They're like weeds, and they grow everywhere, and they're an invasive species. They take over everything. And so we got to get those out of there. And there's my lettuce. It's pretty much ready to eat. And I'm going to plant, maybe I'll plant zucchinis in that empty bed over there. And here I put in some bulbs, so I'm going to have gladiolas. And then there's another plant that I put in there. And I have tulips over here that just come up. My neighbors actually put the tulips in there. So I've got some blueberry bushes that I need to plant. I think I have 5 bushes. This one's the best one. It already has blueberries on it. And see those blueberries? I don't know how I'm going to keep the birds off of them. So that's going to be a problem. And we're going to dig out this bed. It's full of weeds, and plant more stuff there. And I have a grape plant, this nice grape plant, and I think I'm going to put it over by the fence. It actually had baby grapes on it. Let's see if I can find the baby grapes. I don't know if you could see them. The wind is blowing now. Little baby grapes, right? Well, where is it? Right there. There's the baby grapes. And I'm thinking I'm going to put the grapes in this bed here. But as you can see, I have to go into the neighbor's yard and get rid of this massive weed that's growing there. No one's living in that house, so that's a problem. So I thought if I put the grape here where it can get full sun. And there's more beds here that I'm not sure what I'm going to plant yet. And there's my raspberries. And this is the best one. But I've got some others. I've got 5. My neighbor gave me this little one, and I don't know if it's going to make it, but it looks like it's still alive. These big green bushes, I'm going to remove them and put them in the front yard, I think. And also there's a big mint plant. I think I'm going to move these plants, but these big yellowy bushes, I think I could put them in the front of my house. There's nothing at the front of my house. And I can put the blueberries here, and I think that they'll get 6 hours plus sun in this spot. And I actually have 5 blueberry plants, so I have quite a lot of blueberries to put. And here's my strawberry bed. It's about 8 feet by 8 feet, and I put in some mulch so that the berries wouldn't be lying in the mud. And you can see I've got some berries, they're kind of white. One of my berries that was red, something bit a hole in it, so I don't know. See? I don't know what I'm going to do. I have not decided yet how to protect the berries from the birds. So I'm going to have to put some netting over it, but I'm not sure how I'm going to put the netting over it. I bought some posts, but I don't think they'll work. I need something sturdier. So I'm not sure how I'm going to protect my strawberries. If somebody has an idea for me. It's about an 8x8 plot of land with a dozen strawberry plants on it. I even have another strawberry here in a pot. And in this bed here, I'm going to put some tomatoes, some peppers, and different things. And I'm going to put, I think, a little a low tunnel or a high tunnel over it, so that I could extend the growing season in the fall. So I got the tubing over here, and I'm going to use that with rebar and put some plastic over it later in the season so that I can extend the growing season in that plot. This is going to be my compost. I need to buy a composter. That's the next thing I'm going to do. And as we go around the yard here, there's a mint plant, I believe. It's flowering. So I've got to move those bushes to put blueberries there. Okay, and then maybe I can put the catnip over here where it's kind of shady. But as we come around to the front of the house, there's an area here that I think I'm going to plant those two big yellow bushes here. Maybe one on either side of that window. One there and one there. And it won't look so bare. I don't think that bush needs full sun. This area gets a speckling of sun. It's mostly shaded. And that's why I don't think the grass is growing that well here either. And then I've got these bushes here. I have a problem with poison ivy. I'm not allergic to it, but if somebody else is allergic to it and they help me with my yard, that won't be too nice. So if somebody knows how to get rid of poison ivy, please let me know. I need to get rid of this poison ivy. So, but see, there's a fence along here. My neighbor's got a really big fence. And so, but I thought the blueberries would go good over here because I believe they'd get at least 6 hours of sun in this spot over here. And so hopefully it will work. And my strawberry bed. Pot of strawberries. This will be planted maybe tomorrow. I have to go change my tomatoes. So I have 3 different blueberry plants. This is one that sort of has some flowers on it. I got it at Lowe's, and this one I got at a nursery that has really nice things, and it has the most berries on it. And then there's this blueberry bush, which might get a few blueberries on it this year too, and I'll plant that one also. And some of these tomato plants I'm going to bring back because I want to get tomatoes that come out early, and then a little bit later, and then the late season tomatoes, so that I'll have tomatoes all the way through the season, so that I don't have a bunch of tomatoes all coming, September. That's what happened to me last year. I've got some zucchini here that I'm growing from seed, probably too many plants. They're a little leggy. I'm hoping I can find some space to put them. And I've got little orange pepper plants right there. And I have to figure out what I'm going to do with those. I think those would go good in my little greenhouse, so they'll have more time to grow into the fall. But that's it. There's my garden. My neighbor had put up these 4x4 beds, and then the other beds along the fence there. So, and he gardened a couple of years, and then he moved. So I ended up with this, and I used to always have a garden until I was very, very busy and couldn't do it anymore, but now I can do it again. So here are my patio tomatoes. I hope they'll do well. I hope so. I've got them, I put up one of the cages, the smaller tomato cages on the patio plants, hoping that that will be high enough for the patio plants. And then I've got some bigger cages, like this cage over here. But I hope this tomato's doing all right. Maybe I need to tie it up even. It seems to be growing out of the cage. So I might have to do something to have it go up where I want it to be. It's not that big yet. This little guy I just planted, it's an early girl tomato. Looks like the top got cut. I hope that's going to be all right. We had a bad storm last night and we had tornado warnings all last night. See, that got broken, which that's not good. I hope that grows now. The top of the tomato plant just broke off. We had really bad weather last night. These little tomatoes are tomatoes that I found growing in my garden from seeds from last year, so I transplanted them, and we'll see how they grow. They're kind of little still. And anyway, and I'll have to water that a little more. I've got a little bit of corn, not sure where I'm going to put it. So, some lettuce. Some of my lettuce got burned in the sun, so there's a little bit of it growing, and it might be just enough for me. You know, before, if they all grew, I would have had too much lettuce. But it's baby romaine. And then there's these little plants here that I bought. 2 blueberries, little ones, and then another grape. So I'll have 2 grape plants to put in that part of the yard. And I need to know, when I put up this grape plant against the fence, what I should put up for them to grow on. That's something I have to figure out. And I need to remove that big weed that's growing there. So, because this is where I want to put the grapes. So it's sort of in a raised bed. I hope that'll be okay if I put grapes in a raised bed. My neighbor put these all around the yard, and this is really where the most sun is, and the grapes need a lot of sun. Now over in that yard, you can see that's a grapevine over there. No one is in that yard. The woman moved out, and they're trying to sell the house. So that's what she's got for a grape arbor. And I can't put something like that up in my yard, and I don't want all that shade. So I'm hoping that I can have a grape plant over here that isn't going to create a whole bunch of shade in my yard, or, you know, I just hope it's going to fit there okay. Just 2 grape plants and see what happens with them. So a good part of my yard is all garden. There's a big bed here that we're going to dig up, and we're going to put tomatoes and probably some cantaloupe in there. So it's all weeded. It kind of let it go from last year, and I need to fix it. So anyway, that's my garden, guys. And if anybody has any advice, I sort of wish these beds were 4x8 or something. It seems like a lot of wasted space in between the beds. That's how my neighbor did it, you know. So he could mow the lawn through, you know, get the lawnmower in between the beds. But I kind of would like to, maybe I'll enlarge these beds and make them 4x8 or something, and somehow make them, you know, use more of the yard, get more plants in there. So if anybody has any advice on that, but I can't do that this year, that would be for next year. And so that's my garden. I live in a city, but I have a half-decent yard out here, so I do have some room. I just think the way my neighbor set it up, it's not the best. It doesn't give you, you know, there's some wasted space here that I could be planting plants. You know, all this green area here that doesn't have anything in it. And I might keep some tomatoes in pots like those tomato plants over there. But that's it, folks. That's how far I've gotten. This one, maybe I'll put zucchini in there. This bed I have carrots, and they're just starting to come up. They're very slow, and you can kind of see the little carrot plants. And at some point, I'm going to have to maybe spread them out a little bit. So we'll see what happens with the carrots. Anyway, there's some little lettuce growing in there. We'll have to salvage those little lettuce that I have.